YouTube, what is up? Okay, 2027 to 2029. What is VCT going to look like? Let's talk about it. Riot have given me a document of 7 pages. We'll go through it. It won't take that long. Their main slogan is everything is a tournament, and their main goals: every match should carry weight, the path to global events should be open, and live events should be at more locations. So, new ways for any team to qualify to VCT global events, masters and champs. At the moment, you can qualify to champ as any team, but it's pretty hard. Now you can qualify to masters and champs, and I will say it's so open. It's like going back to 2021. Any team can actually qualify for these. I fully agree with this statement. I looked at this earlier. It's a big change. It really is. Let's talk about some of the stuff that is staying similar. Partner teams. We still have some partnered teams. This right here is for teams that want to apply for partnership. We don't really care about that. That's for orgs. But we do care about this. What would the partnered teams get? Base stipend, right? This can cover some of the salary of your teams, your player salary. Performance bonuses. This can be, say you qualify for Masters, you get set amount extra for qualifying for Masters. This can also be content based, right? You did 2 videos. Let's use Liquid as an example. 2 videos on the Liquid Valorant channel. They got above 50k views. You get some money. Or X amount of people watch the Liquid games. You get an extra amount of money. Or they qualified to Masters. Extra amount of money. That's what the performance bonuses are, both in-game and content-wise. Team capsules. We know this one. Classic skins. Let's hope it's more than just a classic for sure. Then this will actually be pretty big. New one, direct seeding, additional stability and increased exposure through direct placement into later rounds of qualifiers. Let's talk about qualifiers. How could you qualify to global events in the past? For Ascension, right? It was just for a single team. It was pretty rough, but multiple opportunities, multiple times a year. This is how it's going to go. It varies by region, but community tournaments, they're going to have one way. Partner events, collegiate events, premier, and more. So depending on your region, multiple ways to try and qualify to these other events. Seems pretty open for sure. You're going to see how open in a little bit. The best non-partner teams, this is just an extreme example, right? They're saying that if you get to champs and you kind of get a lot of the prize pool, you can earn more than some of the lower bottom of the pack partner teams. So let's say the partner teams bomb out in the qualifiers and you get over towards here, you're going to earn more than what the base salary is that they're kind of giving the players. Okay, let's talk about this while it's on our screen. Open qualifiers into international cups, into global. So, online qualifiers. And if we remember what we said earlier, later rounds of the qualifiers is what you're going to get if you're a partner team. So if you're a partner team, you don't start here. You still have to qualify. You still have to show that you can beat these 5 randomers who have signed up and you're good enough to get into the international cups. So that really is cool. We really are going to get the best teams over towards here. And yeah, like I said, it's the most open it's been since 2021. A lot of incentive for smaller orgs or just 5 random players to try their best and see what they can do. Let's quickly talk about this. Let's say that I'm going to use an example. Let's say there's 4 qualifiers, and let's just use NA as an example. They have quite a lot of signups. Let's say it's 256 teams, right? You would then go into round 128, round 64, round 32, and then 16. So I would say the partner teams probably join somewhere around here. So you skip like your first 3 games, maybe first 4 games, depending on how many qualify or how many sign up. So being a partner team, you get to skip a fair amount of this, but it doesn't matter too much. I will say the partner, it's very nice to skip these. We used to do this in 2021. You knew you were going to win the first like 3-4 games, and you just like it's like 4 hours essentially where you're just kind of playing easier games and waiting for other games to finish, and it's not the most fun. So this is nice for partners, but it's not the end. Not the end of all. Let's say that you're I'm going to use M80 as an example, right? Let's say the M80, they have to play from 256, right? They got to play maybe 3 extra games than, let's say again, Liquid. that is maybe, again, I don't know the partner teams. Liquid have to play at like 32, right? So it's still not too bad. M80 could still face Liquid here at one point and beat them. So in terms of what the partner teams get, you are not getting a free ride. That is for sure. Qualifiers, into Cups, into Masters and Champs. Qualifiers, Cups, Masters, online, LAN. This is them talking about how much money they made, 86 mil, and then just saying this is from the digital goods. They want any team to kind of have a go at this, right? We want every team that competes at the highest level to have a path to getting some of this. So the Champs bundle is open. You can get to Champs, you can get part of the money, and it's gonna help your team or org, depending on who you're with, a lot. Each competition will have cash amount attached to it, so we get a prize pool, right? We get robust prize pools for the cups, the qualifiers not so much. So that's pretty cool. Then it says with the number approximately doubling from cups to masters and doubling again from masters to champs. So let's use the example from this year. I think it was 2.2 was the prize pool, but let's just say it's 2 mil to make it easy. 2 mil, 1 mil for masters, and then 500k prize pool for the cups. But I would imagine, because there's different regions, let's say that the 500 is split between 4 regions if there's 4 cups. Still a decent amount, especially for like teams that, or like players that aren't part of an org. You get 7th to 8th, you would actually get an alright amount in terms of prize pool. So that's cool. On top of that as well, they are going to make sure that it's fully funded travel for global events. So again, if you don't have an org and you make it all the way to Masters, they cover all of that. So that is something cool. And then on top of that, a portion of funds will be dedicated to game changers as well. So I think something that is going to be a big part of this is the game changer teams. I mean this in no disrespect, but none of them are at the level that you're going to see at Champs at the moment. So you could have game changer teams going into the open qualifiers, going into the cups, trying to play for these masters, maybe qualifying to, at the extreme end, a masters. And then when game changers happens, right, you could literally just have it similar time as champs. So they could play the online qualifiers for the masters, but then they could miss the champs, and that still gives them a good portion to play against all of the teams, right? But then they have this separate thing when it comes to champs. I think that's a really good approach, to be honest, because the level will just go up so much faster. You see it with Shopify, Rebellion, how much better they're getting from playing just all of the other teams and being in these competitions. I think Liquid Brazil are doing it as well. So that's something that's really, really cool. For the cups in particular as well, funds will be made available to teams in a timely manner so they can be equipped to arrange the logistics. So basically that means that, say you're you're a team that isn't part of an org. I think if say you got 12 teams and the lowest payout is like 20k, they're going to give you the 20k early to make sure that you can get visas and stuff, right? I think that's what they mean. I could be wrong, let me know. But I think that's what they mean. Funds will be made available in teams in a timely manner. Yeah. Or maybe it's like part of the skin money. I'm not too sure. Basically, they're going to make sure that you have money to cover it. This is all really cool. This right here is all really cool. When we're talking about the positives, I'm going to quickly focus on the negatives. I'm sorry that I'm on this for a long time, but it is just a big thing. Open qualifiers can be a nightmare. Like, they can be a nightmare. You get cheaters sometimes. DSG, big example. You can have people that internet timeouts and you get disqualified. So as much as the open qualifiers are really cool, there's a lot of bad stuff that can happen with them that can be a nightmare. This is where all the stories are going to happen. There's going to be so much drama around here. Riot are going to really have to make sure that they hone in and they make this good. No matter what, bad stuff is going to come out of this, even if they're like the best qualifiers you've ever seen. There will always be some kind of cheaters that cheated some team out. There will always be some internet issue that means that you got disqualified. There will always be some kind of ranking issues, right? Seeding's going to be a nightmare for this. Like I spoke about M80 earlier. Sure, how do you rank M80 in terms of like the partner teams? The partner teams probably getting the main seeds, but then M80, are they going to play another, let's say a Shopify, right? Are they going to play really early? Or is the seeding going to be good enough that these guys avoid each other? Seeding for when it's like 256 or 128 teams is a nightmare. This can be a nightmare, but it will be fun. I will say that. Okay, that's enough about that. Let's talk about the rewards, what is there available. Digital goods, same thing. Champs, capsules, right? The partner teams get some of that performance bonus, baseline payout. We've said that before. So digital goods, and this is open by the looks of it. This is open. Obviously, partner teams ensure this, but this is still open for the teams that make it to these cups and stuff like that. So that is cool. A lot more money for any org to be getting. All teams can earn money for champs, masters, kickoff, game changers incentive. So that I guess that's if you have a game changers team as well. And then prize pool for these, right? I think that's what they're saying. While we are finalizing the detail, every goal is for every team in every territory to have a path to every global event. Regional communities will have dedicated pathways that send them to international and global competitions, with partner teams meeting them in the later rounds. Yeah. With partner teams meeting them in the later rounds. Okay. See, here we're talking about the global and international competitions and not the qualifiers. We'll see. Maybe they get a head start in some of the internationals as well. We'll see. Again, this is like still very open. There's a lot of stuff that they can change or give us more info. We expect that this change will bring stakes and the best teams back to their home regions. I mean, for sure. Helping develop the scene and new players is crucial for the longevity of the sport. The combination of regional, international, and global competition will help us achieve the fine balance between competitiveness and representation at every single stage of VCT. Okay, now let's talk about it. Open qualifiers. This is open qualifiers, and then this is the cups, and this is the masters. So we've split it up. North America, LATAM, Brazil, different qualifiers to get into the cups. Asia, Japan, Korea, South Asia, different, 4 different groups. EU, MENA, Turkey. Turkey's so good, they get their own different, and then China, pretty much the same as it is as well. So that's pretty interesting. This is going to be stacked for sure. This is going to be interesting. Something that's going to be very interesting as well is like the number placement they put over towards here, right? We had this at the beginning of the game, right, where it's essentially like one region was better than the other, but maybe they got more spots into the cups. They're going to have to be yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they distribute it, of who, whether it's equal or whether like North America gets more qualifications than LATAM. We'll see. I'm just using that as an example. Introducing VCT Cups. More events and more cities. Open qualifiers will feed into new tournaments called Cups. 2 per territory per year. So 2 cups. We get 8 in total. So you would have kickoff. You got kickoff into Masters. And then you have the cups into Master, and then cups into Champs. And then this would be the 4 cups, right? 4 cups, you have kickoff into this, then you have the 4 cups, and then 4 cups. That makes 8 altogether. So 8 of these, and then kickoff, which they're not including as the cups. Punchy land-based events that determine the top teams in each territory. Each cup replaces regular season play, so no more season play. So you would imagine it's more of a qualifier or more of a elimination stage. Concludes with finals weekend event, so something that we have this year where kind of we're going on more of a road trip to do events in different locations. That could be pretty cool. Directly qualifies teams to Masters and Champs. Yeah, that's what we spoke about earlier with the cups. Competition at kickoffs and cups will be held on LAN. So again, that's confirming that the qualifiers, everything beforehand is going to be online. On a combination of Riot Studios and bespoke events. Yeah, so maybe they would play a fair amount of the qualifier in a studio, and then we go to a road trip to Bangkok for a weekend, 3 days, and it would be like the final 4 teams to work out who goes. That's pretty cool. 16 different cities, 20 different tournaments. Kickoff will remain a bespoke tournament with a unique format, so we might get the triple elim again to start it off, and they don't count as one of these cups, like we said earlier. Qualifiers happening Q4 of the previous year, so that's this year. 2026 qualifiers, open qualifiers start happening for kickoff. That's cool. Worldwide tour, like we said, 20 tournaments, 16 different cities. Looking ahead, okay, let's look at this. So regional kickoff qualifiers online. So the open qualifiers into the international, which will be the kickoff here, then the masters. You would imagine teams that go to masters are looking like they're going to go straight up into the cups and they won't have to do the qualifier again. I think that's very valid. That is probably what they were speaking about earlier when they said some of them will have seeding in the cups, or they'll go into the cups. So it's probably the teams from the masters. So then say you miss the masters, you got to go back into the qualifiers, and then we go back into the qualifiers. So I would imagine if we're looking at game changers would play all of this, all of the teams, they're in the open qualifiers, and then I reckon they would have something separate here. That's probably the way that they would do it. And then they have 2 times in the year when they can compete with everyone, and then they have their own little tournament. That's a good way of doing it. I think that is a good way of doing it. On LAN and then online. Cool. Starting in 2027, all teams will compete in a unified system and single tier of competition. Yes, they're saying they got rid of tier 1, they got rid of tier 2, and it's just one tier now. It's all open. This new structure removes the barriers for rising talent and creates a direct path for more teams to get to the top of the sport with an all-tournament format and expanded schedule of events. The VCT is heading to more cities, giving more players and fans the opportunity to experience all the sport has to offer. The new VCT system is designed to deliver higher stakes from the first match. Yep, got to agree with that. Faster progression to global stages, sure. More regional events, yep, and greater competitive opportunity. That one for sure has been hit. We'll share more details on regional calendars, slot allocation, game changes, etc. as we get closer to champs. Okay, and that is it. So this is the format. I mean, we did it in under 20 minutes. That's not too bad. We spoke a little bit about some of our concerns with the open qualifier, which is still very valid, but I think this is really cool, man. I think this is really, really cool. I do have a little bit of concerns with this. I think this is essentially what happens in like CS minors to majors. This is essentially the same format. These have to be done very well, for sure. And considering how many regions are going to be playing, it's going to be a little bit of a logistical nightmare. But once we get into the cups, it's going to be awesome. And it's such a good opportunity for lower orgs and low orgs, to be honest. Just players can kind of compete and show themselves. So it's very, very cool. What do I think is going to happen? I think my big takeaway from this is the salaries that players are gonna have is gonna go down drastically because you aren't secured as much exposure. So I think it's gonna be, in terms of just orgs, more percentage-based salary, like more performance-based salaries in these orgs as well. Let's say that players, right? Say that we got the champs bundle. Sorry to keep going up and down. So that we have the champs bundle here. Say that orgs used to take maybe 70% of this. I think that this will go up quite high for the players. So you might see more of like a 50-50 balance, and there's more incentive to like try and qualify, and then the base salary goes down. But if you qualify to champs, then you get more of the percentage of the skins, and then that's how orgs will probably do it. I think everyone's base salary is going to go down, and yeah, I reckon there'll be more incentive in the contracts. That's basically where I view it in terms of player stuff. It's cool for orgs that are outside of the partnership program. I don't think being part of the partnership program gives you that much of a competitive edge, other than getting like the extra payment. But in terms of being dumped in, you're still dumped in at the qualifiers. So you still got to have a really decent team. Okay, let me know what you think in the comments. Do we miss anything crazy? I mean, probably. We're definitely missing stuff, but there's so much information here that we're for sure going to miss stuff. It's cool. Overall, I think it's really cool. But yeah, my main takeaways are the qualifiers are gonna be a nightmare to run logistically, especially seeding wise. The cups are going to be awesome. Looks like we're getting a lot more prize pool in. That's awesome. I think the salaries for teams are going to go down dramatically, but I do think that, again, the incentive of getting more of a percentage is pretty good, and it will maybe become like what they have in CS with like sticker money when they go to the Masters. Might be like that, more of an incentive. I think for this to fully work, personally, and this is gonna, it's not a hot take, it's just like a horrible take, I guess, in the reality that we live in. For some of these regions to thrive, they got to really embrace the gambling sponsors, to be honest. I think that's where we're at. And I know that's a horrible way to end, but some of these will be fine. But I think if I look at some of the other esports that I've seen, for a more open pathing like this and to get orgs interested, they gotta be more open with gambling sponsors for this to work. That's where I view it. It's not a nice way to end it, but that's basically where I'm at. Let me know in the comments, what do we like, what do we dislike? Dude, I tell you what's gonna be fun, man. The open qualifiers, stage 32, there's gonna be so many. Imagine like it's gonna be a logistical nightmare, like we've said, to record and to have. But imagine stage 32. It's gonna be single limb, you would imagine. But imagine like a Vitality. They're playing like a random team that we've never heard of before, and it's just like a small streamer that's watching it, and they're like down 0-7. Like everyone's gonna go watch that stream. It's gonna be awesome. This also means that Riot used to be pretty against doing like A stream, B stream stuff, but they're going to have to do that all the time. God, how are we going to watch all of these? We're not going to be able to watch all of these. There's too many regions. There's way too many regions. I'm not even sure I'll be able to do all the cups. No, we'll be able to do all the cups if we do these 3. Yeah, the cups are the same. It's just the open qualifier. I'm talking so much. There's so much going on. My brain's going like 500 miles an hour with so much stuff that's going on. Let me know in the comments what you think, what I got wrong, what I missed, what I messed up. Yep, I'll see you all the co-stream. We're co-streaming today for EMEA. All right, peace everyone. Bye.